We set up the NetApp Accelerator program purely with the thought process in terms of being able to develop an ecosystem that can innovate faster, that can innovate in a fashion that we can solve our customer problems, especially as the industry is facing the challenge of digital transformation and other disruptions. There is a need for to be able to innovate faster in the market, and that's really the vision of being able to set up this accelerator, is to set up an ecosystem where we have an opportunity to jointly innovate faster. When you are a startup, when startups actually come and join this program, they actually have a lot to gain. Number one is that a lot of the startups in the early stage, in terms of, let's say, they are pre-Series A, they're not necessarily funded, but they may have a little bit of an angel funding or what have you. They may not necessarily have physical space to work. They've not necessarily matured their design and architecture. They're not necessarily matured their go-to-market plans. One of the things that we do, we help these startups that come into the program do, is to really polish all of those and be able to get that into a state where they are actually running smoothly. Our technical mentors in the program have helped enormously to be able to review the design and architecture to whether they can actually run at the scale that they need to, or they really design for the future, things like that, and help them even change the direction of their architecture to that extent. There are also, in terms of from a go-to-market perspective, it's really about being able to open those doors. The idea, one of the hardest things for startups to do is to be able to reach customers, and we focus on being able to take the help of our sales organization to be able to open those doors for them. Not only that, we actually offer them physical space. We actually offer them a grant, which actually has no strings attached. We give them a $15,000 grant that doesn't have any equity or anything like that attached to it. So I think that the startups actually have a lot to gain, and if you were to talk to those startups that went through the first cohort, I think they will attest to the fact that they had a lot to gain by participating in this program. Historically, if you look at it, right, especially here in our Indian ecosystem, we haven't had a lot of B2B, product companies that have, had the capability to build such platforms or have those platforms, to build those products and bring that kind of innovation. Especially as we look at the next, generation challenges in the future, we haven't really had that opportunity. We have had a lot of services innovations that have, we've pioneered in that one over the years. And then we started the B2C, wave, if you will, in terms of being able to excel in that, or be competitive in that, or have product companies that offer those kind of services. I think the B2B is starting to mature, and I think it's a good time to be able to help build that ecosystem. I think if you look at the disruptions that are coming, and as we believe, one of the bigger disruptions that are actually coming is related to the amount of data that is there in this world, and how that needs to be treated. I think B2B is the place to be in for you to be able to innovate and solve that next generation challenges, and I think that's what we try and put together here. The entire ecosystem has been extremely supportive. We've actually had a number of investors coming in and into our accelerator, talking to the startups that we have in the program. We have actually had a number of external coaches that we have engaged with who have come and talked to the startups that are here. We actually have technical and business mentors internally within NetApp who are actually teaching them, mentoring them in across all different phases of their life cycle, for that matter. And finally today, the event which kind of really culminates in this demo day, I thought the startups did an phenomenal job presenting their pitches within 10 minutes to the audience here. So I thought it's phenomenal that the ecosystem has been great. We are looking forward to starting the cohort 2. We wanted to look at a 1-year program with 2 cohorts. So we have actually opened up for applications today, and we look to start the second cohort sometime around February 21st. So between now and then, we go through all of the applications. Then we would actually down select just as we did in our cohort 1, right? And then in the first cohort, we actually had more than 250 applicants coming in, and which we had to really down select to about 6 of them. We expect to go through similar. We expect to go through a similar process to start cohort 2. I think more than anything else, it's really about being themselves and their ability to learn, right? If you think that if you are playing in the data space, if you are actually a startup who wants to learn, you're at early stage and you have the right factors in terms of being able to qualify, I think it would be a great help. So look forward to working with those startups, and I would encourage everyone to apply for the same, and we would be very fair in terms of looking at the opportunities and be able to share our thoughts about it, and really we look forward to selecting those the next cohort, if you will.